Welcome to the show, everybody. It's the Crypto Lark. Today we're going to be talking about Populous peer-to-peer invoice discounting for the blockchain era. We're going to be discussing just what the heck that means after a quick shout out to everyone who's been hitting that like button, and of course everybody who's been subscribing to the channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you hit that button down below or the bell to stay up to date with all of the latest in the crypto space. Furthermore, this is of course not professional financial advice. This is, as you know, just a dude talking about cryptocurrencies on the internet. Let's get into it. Now, the problem here that Populous is trying to solve is that SMEs, or small to medium-sized enterprises, are always needing money. And unfortunately, the way the current system works, you put in an invoice, it might take months to get filled because it's got to go and they process it through the department, all the stuff that you can imagine with legacy systems. It takes a long time to get paid. Meanwhile, that small or medium-sized business, they got salaries to pay, they got electricity bills to pay, they got all this stuff going out the door, but money only comes in every so often. And so that's where Populous is trying to fill the gap. They're trying to connect sellers of invoices to buyers of invoices to provide temporary liquidity. Now, this liquidity usually would be provided by banks, but Populous is trying to disrupt that model because the bank model is slow and not super convenient, whereas this can actually be very quick, peer-to-peer, without, I suppose, the need of the middleman, I guess except Populous, of course. The market is huge. They're estimating it's up to a $3 trillion market. Of course, if Populous can snag even a small percentage of that market, it will be a highly valuable project. Now, of course, we are talking about Populous this week because it has crushed all the competition in the community coin review. So well done to the community for getting out there and putting your votes in. Now, if you are an invoice seller, you can get that instant money coming your way. You, of course, going to benefit from immediate or near immediate cash flow, of course, by using the blockchain. The only intermediary here is the platform itself. This is peer-to-peer. Global currencies as well, although their initial focus is only in the UK, and it will be an auction system where you can put your invoice up for sale and different buyers can actually come in and compete against these others. So you might actually get a pretty decent rate in the end, of course. And as a buyer, you've got a lot of options here as well. Of course, plenty of choices because there's so many businesses that will actually, of course, probably be using this. But really, we're looking at high client predictability. We're going to be getting into the algorithms they're planning on using to make that happen here pretty soon, because really what they want is to have lower risk. So Populous will be running the KYC of the sellers to make sure that reliable sellers are the ones selling the invoices. They'll of course run the risk scores as well. They're using something called XBRL data, and this is the global standard for business information, and this is now the standard in the United Kingdom. Essentially what we're going to see here is leveraging the power of data, putting in smart contracts on top of it in order to provide this marketplace for the selling of invoices and for the safe buying of invoices by the people who want to be doing that and making that a business. As mentioned, there will be an auction setup that's for the buying and the selling of these invoices. Now, I really feel like there's a certain amount of first mover advantage here. They're one of the first ones to be leveraging these data sets on the blockchain using it, or particularly focusing on invoicing. So it's a very interesting idea. It's a start to finish process for invoicing here. So they'll use the blockchain, they'll be using smart contracts. We're going to have the XRBL data brought in for the peer-to-peer lending scoring and all these different things. So this is going to reduce barriers, lower costs, increase efficiency, and of course, give auditable transparency, which is always a good thing. Now you can come over here and check out some of the different documentation they have. You can find out, for example, how their liquidity pool works. There will be a liquidity pool to make sure that there is instant access to funds. That's how they make the instant access to funds available for people. And you can come over and, of course, by the way, what is this going on this page? Is that a Johnson? That might be a Johnson. Have they put a Johnson in their white paper? Oh my goodness, these guys, I tell you. Okay, no, seriously now. A quick mention about the token as well. Now, the token will be, the Populous token will be used in exchange for tokens. Yes? Tokens, guys. I love this name. Now, those are pegged tokens. So this allows that value to actually stay, which is so important in a volatile cryptocurrency market. So the tokens will be used in platform. They'll be pegged to fiat. So if you are an invoice seller and you need to have British pounds, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get British pounds. And your tokens will be pegged to the pound. This is, of course, a great hedge against that crypto volatility. In order to get those tokens, you need to have the Populous token. So you can see there's a real potential value here for the Populous token over time as companies start using this to really go up massively in value. There will also be buybacks over time so that the actual number of Populous tokens in existence will go down. So that means that the demand for the remaining ones will be even higher, which is very interesting. Now, I think it's important to talk a bit about the team here because there has been a lot of FUD recently around Populous. And I think that is important to actually get in here and investigate what exactly has been going on. Now, it all primarily, anyway, centers around Stephen Williams. He is the founder and CEO. Now, he has spent time, or he's been charged with ID fraud. Now, essentially, they have been involved in financial crimes in the past. And that's, hey, look, it was a while ago. This is 10 plus years we're talking here. But still been involved in financial crimes in the past. Time has been served for that fraud. Now, you can say, hey, why would this guy want to do anything now? He's got this big successful company going. Is this time for a second chance? Perhaps. Perhaps. Past actions do not indicate future actions by any means. That being said, I think the particular nature of that crime is so important to point out because it is a financial crime. And I know some other CEOs of crypto projects have been caught out for, they had a criminal record. I think the Substratum guy beat up the guy who assaulted his sister. It's a pretty different story. Again, financial crimes are a separate category when you're investing money in somebody's company. Now, this could be a plus or a minus. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. This guy understands, I suppose, financial crimes to an extent. And when he's talking to other big bankers and stuff like this, they'll go, yeah, that's one of our guys. He knows what's up. He's done the crimes himself, just like we do regularly, the big bankers might say. Or, of course, they might look at him and go, hey, wait a second. You've already done financial crimes. Why would we trust you? And that's something to think about. Now, look, the industry they are looking to disrupt is a big industry. They might have big enemies who are, bringing this up now years and years later to say, hey, look, guys, look at this, what this guy's done. You can't trust him because of that. Maybe this is brought up by whales trying to push the prices down so they can buy back in cheaper. Maybe it was the aliens. Those guys. If you go to Populous social media it is simply awash with die-hard supporters and die-hard haters. People who, no matter what comes up, ignore it and say that's just BS, focus on the project. And other people out there saying, how can you guys be ignoring all this stuff here? Other recent allegations that there's been a large amount of Ethereum moved out. And that could have been spent on, cars and champagne, or that could have been spent hiring new developers. We don't know. Again, it's FUD, right? Until you have evidence, you don't know. But those are some of the things out there that I think are really important for you as a potential investor in Populous to know the inside story on, at least to a certain extent. Now, the beta version is out. 1.0 has hit. Unfortunately, this has come 3 months late, which I'm sure investors are happy to see it out now, but are probably not happy that it was 3 months behind schedule. It's a pretty long time. Better to under-promise and over-deliver than to over-promise and under-deliver. As we all know, of course, 3 months is quite a long time to wait after having promised a beta release in November. Now, Populous has a £1 billion partnership with Luxure Global Citizen. This is a very cool partnership and gives amazing potential to Populous. Oh, except that Luxure came out only a couple of days ago and said, no, that partnership is not going forward. Now, that begs the question. This is a great idea, but what kind of partners do they have currently? Who's going to be using this? Some small businesses, that's cool. I like small businesses. I like medium-sized businesses. But you really have to get some names on board here to see this actually coming to fruition. This would have been a good partner for them to have. Unfortunately, this partner has pulled out. Unsure if that is, of course, because of the FUD or the late beta deadlines, or they just wanted to do their own thing. There's an official statement here, but you never actually know the full reasons behind things. Companies like this can be overly conservative in their statements that they make. Now, what about competition? This is one area where Populous, I think, stands out. There really isn't any competition blockchain-wise in this space. There's, of course, plenty of traditional companies doing this, but not blockchain-based. And blockchain, of course, gives a lot of advantages, which we mentioned earlier. Now, we can have a quick look here at the roadmap, or at least the strategic direction, if you will. Most of the focus for the first few years is on building a sustainable platform and, of course, bringing on those small to medium-sized enterprises. Currently, as mentioned, they are only operating in the UK. They are looking at overseas expansion. However, with Brexit, the UK will soon be out of the EU, so it's unsure how they will be able to access those EU markets and what kind of regulations they might need to go through in order to be able to, partake in those. Not to mention, of course, moving into Southeast Asia or the United States. Certainly that does need to happen long term. The UK is not a big enough market, potentially anyway, to sustain such a grandiose idea. Anyway, now, if you want to grab some Populous, currently, of course, we're trading on Binance. That is where the majority of the liquidity for Populous exists. Right now, it's at about $30. 37 million in circulating supply. Now, look, Populous, much like everything else, pumped hard back in December, January. It got all the way up to about $75. Not bad. Not bad. Of course, we are way, way, way down on that right now, but a lot of the market is down at the moment as well. So definitely this is a project that has a lot of potential. There are some downsides to it. There's some FUD around the CEO and, of course, competition always out there. But I think it's a good product, Populous. I think they've got a good idea. They've found a niche that they can carve out. They're utilizing blockchain in an efficient way to reduce barriers, lower costs, increase efficiency, give that transparency, of course, which is a thing that we always look for with blockchain technology. Up to you, of course, to decide, is the FUD around it something that you think is justified, or is it just FUD? Let me know about it in the comment section down below, guys, what you think. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.